Okay, everybody, I'm going to official start my channel, Meet Up Speak Up. Hi. So at this point, I am going to start inviting people to talk about the issues that's going on in the state of Michigan. So I am actually Meet Up Speak Up from the state of Michigan. So I'm gonna start talking about or addressing the issues that we have with certain different departments, certain different justice department, certain different courts, and trying to basically bring forth a solution. Now, I've talked about basically the injustice system for a while because I was a person who was retaliated against, I can basically say. I was pled guilty without my consent of knowing that I was being pled guilty. I had been talking about it for 8 years, and it has been very stressful because you have this system that's supposed to help individuals when there's certain things happen, and they're not. They're very complacent. They do not want to help a person of color. I can basically say that, and state it as a fact. To meet up and to talk about things that's going on with individuals, personal things that they do not go out and run and grab a media or go to an organization or post it on a website or Instagram or Twitter. These are personal issues that individuals like myself is dealing with through the system, trying to get the system to do the right thing. And the more you try to get them to do the right thing, is the more they choose to lie and deceive the people of the state. And I'm not basically talking about every department. And I know that it is good people in these same departments that are corrupt. They just don't want to get involved. And I understand that. And I have interviewed people from the Flint scenario and people who actually worked in the office. And I asked them, I said, you had to get memos, you had to get all this information. Didn't y'all know about this? And it was like, yeah, but who are we? You know, they the bosses. We just work there. And that's the reason I come up with that official bystander. Official bystander to me, let me give you the definition for it. The official bystander is people who actually work in these systems that has no protection, they have no union, they have no organization backing them and ho 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 pushing up them. They're only individuals working for a 9 to 5 job, trying to survive and try to pay their mortgage, car note, insurance, and utilities, and different other financial needs. So they do not have any options. But if they see something going wrong, to just be quiet about it. And I think that is so horrible that a person must take in that concept of, I know they're doing wrong, but I can't say anything because I will get fired, or I won't be a part of the clique anymore, or they're outcast me. Or if you have that type of mentality and you're working at a place that you're calling a career job, that is so unfair to that type of individual. Because when you take on a job, most people in longevity take a job for passion. They take a job because they want to improve. They want to bring them resource. They want to build the company. And eventually they want to be a part of that. So as they go on and they become 24 years working as a belllet, I mean, you got respect there. You got, the clique, as you would say it. And you got a lot of judges counting on you. But when you encounter a corrupt judge and you have 24 years or more and a person that's being loyal to the system, and now they come up with a new face, new judge, new strategy, and all of it's correcting because they are not going by the Michigan Pale law or the statutes of the laws. Then what do? I'll tell you what you do. Basically, most people turn the other cheek, close their eyes, and let it go through one ear, coming out the other. They do nothing because they have no backing, no support. That's been their support all their life for that long-term jeopardy. So we got to understand what we have to change in the system is maybe getting certain folks who don't have that background or that back support because they are ones who see and hear everything. Now, if we want to get our justice system straightened out, first, we will have to get some backing for the people who actually see and hear everything and know who's doing wrong, know who's actually being corrupt or not following the actual laws as a judge, prosecutor, lawyer. We have people sitting in there that see these things every day that occur. But they can't do anything about it because they have nothing to fall back on. They don't want to be a person that's outcast. They don't want the judge to feel that they can't be supported or loyal because they're the bellot, they're the transcriber, they're the clerks, they're the administration clerks, they're the overall office officials who paperwork goes to one hand to the other. And when paperwork goes through your hand and you recognize that the paperwork is not accurate, if you have that bold type of personality, you would challenge it regardless if you got 20 or 40 years there. But most people who has that longevity do not challenge anything that the judge or any upper person say because they have nothing truly to fall back on. Now, I don't know if clerks have unions, but I am not aware that they have one. Anyway it goes, they don't want to put themselves out there to lose their longevity job. You have a lot of people who just coming in the system who will call them out, but the ones who have the longevity will not. So if we looking to fix our injustice system, we got to start, and I wouldn't say the bottom, but we refer to that as employees, the bottom. You got to start at the people who get the documents, the people who hear the information, the people who have to do or must do what the judge telling them or they will get fired. Now, recently, I believe it was about 10 years ago, we transitioned the clerks from being into or working through the court to the transcriptors that's working out of the court. I think that was a wrong mode or wrong move to do that. I think the transcribers at this point in time is not loyal to the people. And I think that we need someone who's going to be accountable, especially for them transcripts that's going in cases, high cases, murder cases, big cases that's being people being accused of. And I think what we should do, and what should be put on the platform or the ballot into a proposal, is to bring back efficient transcribers back to the court system. Now what they do is basically transcribe it on an auto tape, and then a person as like you and I would have a certain kind of certification that can be able to type up the transcripts, and they would listen to the audio tape and type up the transcripts. We don't know who these people are because now the system is basically working with out of the office, out of the courtroom transcribers. And I think that the out of the court transcribers is not the way it should be done. See, because the transcribers that's out of the office or out of the court is not being held accountable for transcripts not being accurately done. It's things that a judge will tell them to blank out in a transcript, to put dots, to basically take out wordings that a person as myself or someone else would say during a court trial or a court date. And if it's not challengeable to the judge or the prosecutor, they would have the transcriber dotted out like you never said it. Like, oh, I can't hear it. Oh, it wasn't verbally able to be translated. It wasn't verbally able to be transferred, and you listen to an auto tape of somebody talking? Come on now, let's be for real. So this was done to me in a different case. They had taken out where I kept saying no, and they put dot, 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 and then put yes. And I'm like, I never said yes. I said no. So on these transcripts, we really need to look deep into how Michigan, and basically in the suburbs, I really truly don't know about the city because I don't do anything in the city would take a transfer. Most of the things I do is in the suburbs when it comes to challenging different industries, so or individuals or courts. So the transcripts that they are doing in the suburbs is not efficient to me, because if I'm saying a word that is supposed to be in that transcript, it don't supposed to have a dot 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 dot. It actually supposed to have the words that I'm saying. I don't care if you agree with the words, but it should have them words in the transcript. Not dot, 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 and put what you want to put. So I think we should work to clean up the justice system. It's working with bringing back the transcripters that will be accountable in the courts instead of using third-party transcribers to listen to an audio tape and then type things up. I think we should get backing for develops, for the clerks so they won't be pushed to do falsified documents, um, and not be able to say anything or do anything about it because they're working under the judge and they have no backing, um, and they want to keep their job. I have had several people in the justice system to tell me that, we don't want to use a lot of jobs, this, and give me information what took place where they had to do things for the judge, for the prosecutor, without actually doing it correctly because that's their jobs. They have to do what they tell them to do. I had a clerk, a probation clerk, come in and falsify documents against me, an affidavit. She actually signed the affidavits stating that I was in or on probation. And I'm saying, okay, if I was on probation, where's the probation officer? And she said, I'm the probation officer. And I said, I've never seen you for in my life. This is 2014. And you're telling me now, in 2014, that you, with a 16-month, 6 months of probation, that you're my probation after, I believe at that point in time, it was like 2 years and 2 months. And guess what? I was supposed to have been still on probation. Although the document says 16 months, when I tried to get the information on the probation, because I wanted the documents, the PAIR or the report, or how did you get to this place of putting me on a probation for a year and a half for an off-the-road incident, first ever. I'm trying to get the guidelines. I was trying to get the report of how they came up with that conclusion, and everything. It all went under the rug. I couldn't get no documentations. She came in, filled out an affidavit, and told me to basically get rid of my pride because the court judge run this. And I was like, excuse me? The court judge run this. He could send you to jail for 3 to 5 years and you can't do nothing about it. When you have that type of individual working, and I'm not taking up for that type of individual. I'm not saying that type of individual need to be backed. I'm saying that type of individual need to be fired and never work in this type of industry again, as we call for the people of justice system. Now, the whole point is that she didn't care. Now, I'm not talking about Caucasian. This woman was black as dust. And I'm here to say it. You don't like it? Oh, well. But the whole point is, I believe she was from Africa. And she came in trying to get a start, trying to get up the ladder. And to get up the ladder, it was to stab innocent people in the back. She didn't care. So what I am saying is that we need to start from the bottom of the system and straighten it out. Get the people necessary what they need when it comes to backing, so they can report if illegal stuff is going on in the court system. So the clerks can feel comfortable of reporting falsified documents. I had a document that was basically my signature was basically on one document, and they took the document and they used another document and they put the document like this. All right, now this sheet here, my signature was on, and it was something to do with I believe the social worker, excuse me, I believe the social worker. So At that point in time, I reported a situation that occurred, which was a sexual abuse that occurred with the social worker, and I signed a paper stating that I gave her this information. What they did was a document where I was challenging them to get the information from them about a violation and different things like that. The day they incarcerated me, what they did was took a document, and I had an attorney standing beside me, and I'm studying, looking at him like, what is going on here? He told me they dropped all the charges. What they did, me not knowing, I never should have initiated it. I don't know what was going through my mind at that point in time. We had because the attorney wasn't there for me, he was there for himself. But I had heard over and over and over, I'm going to send you to jail for 180 days, 190 days, 90 days. And I'm studying, thinking about, well, I got all these things to do, I'm doing. I am finishing college. I get my degree and graduate in 2 months. I got a job, I got houses, I got businesses, I got real estate property. There's no way I can go to jail for 180 days fighting this case. Okay? So that was where my mind frame was. Meanwhile, they got me to initial this document, me not knowing what it is. Never seen it before. Under the stress and the ordeal of them constantly saying what he was saying in court. And I can basically show you the document or the video where he kept saying the 180 days, 360 days. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do that. I can't protest against them or challenge them with that length of time because I have too much that was going on. So they did that probation documentation that same day I was standing there. I'm thinking I'm standing there to get charges dropped on me, and if not, we was going to jury trial. Well, the attorney had already pled me guilty, and I did not know it. So we're actually standing there for a sentencing report. And I don't know what he's talking about because I was told something else by my attorney, supposed to be attorney. So what they did, in the fact of it, on the record, you can see he got me to initial it. But he kept saying about, you signed this, so you spoke to your attorney. The only thing I spoke to my attorney about was basically all the charges being dropped. And he was like, and I told him at that point in time, I said, if they bring up anything about drugs, alcohol, anything that will make me look like that I did something that I did not do, I want you to object to it, and we're going to jury trial. Of course, that didn't happen. So they covered the document that they got me an initial in court. I can show you the videotape of it. But they used the signature from another document. So they photocopied the signature at the end of this supposedly sentencing probation document to actually ratify to individuals or to the court that I had signed this probational document. Never seen the probational document in my life. Never seen it, never was discussed, never was told about it, never. The only time I came in to sit down and fill out a document was with the social worker and one of the persons who was working there, but that document was non-sufficient because of the simple fact it had nothing that was indicating that I did anything wrong. So that document wasn't accepted. Meanwhile, when I'm standing up to the podium thinking charges is being dropped, this person, as a judge, creates a pre-post sentencing document. That date. As you see the date, and I have a date, this is an example, but I have a date that's on there. It's the same date I was standing up there at the podium. And I kept trying to get the attorney to address, because I don't know. Now, he sent all these days and months that I'm supposed to be serving. I'm trying to get him to, so I looked at him, and you will see this in the video. I looked at him to try to get him to address this. He stands there and looks at me like, oh wow. So what I'm telling you is our system needs to be changed from the bottom up. We need to go after the clerks, the transcribers, the ballots, and we either need to back them with union members, or the one that I was told to take down my pride and basically do what the judge tell you to do, because he can lock you up to 3 to 5 years. I'm like, 3 to 5 years for what? And I'm steady asking her for the documents. For what? Give me the probation documents. Give me the actual documents for probation that you put me on for supposed to be for 16 months. Haven't seen anybody. I called the circuit court and it was like, well, Miss Rose, we don't have, well, we don't have anything on you. It's amazing. And they get away with it in the public eyes. So right now, I think we should start at the bottom. And the bottom is the employees. When it comes to the clerks, when it comes to the ballots, we either give them some support so they can be able to tell the things that they see and hear. So they won't feel like if they say anything that they'll be fired or outcast. And I think also with these type of people, like the lady who came in and falsified the affidavits, and I believe her name was, I'm going to get to that because I really want to break down the documentations and basically go over them and show the people how it was done and how it was made out to look like that I was a person who was an alcoholic, a drug addict, a dope fiend, a person who was illegally carrying a gun. All this stuff was false. You know, I'm against drugs, but I'm for medical marijuana. I don't overdose when it comes to alcohol. Everybody has social drinking. That morning was no social drinking. It was 4:30 in the morning. I was on my way to work. How am I drinking for? Well, some people do, but my personality, I don't drink at 4:30 in the morning. So at this point in time, they did it to cover up, I can basically say, something that took place at the scene. And they didn't want me to put in a complaint about it. I guess at that point in time, I can rationalize it by saying I wore 130 pounds. I wasn't as big as I am now. My hair was longer. Maybe I did look younger than I was supposed to be, you know. But at that point in time, I was 45 years old. So maybe they didn't, you know, the officer who did what he didn't really realize, you know, he was actually sexually assaulting a person that was old enough to be his mother. But it's a lot that a person can take in and see that a system is not going correctly or is very corrupt. And a lot of people just don't come out about it. They will just ignore it or say, you know, that's how they are. So I might as well suck it up and deal with it. I'm not that type of person. I don't feel that anyone has the right to take or do anything to you or as an individual, and it's wrong, and get away with it. I'm the type of person that I will hunt you down and I will pursue you and challenge you the rest of my life to get you to tell the truth. That's the type of person I am. So this is the reason why it's been a journey for 8 years. Because you have a messed up system. And until we get someone in the system that looks at this and hopefully that it's not past the statutory, well, it's not past the statutory laws. But after all the media attention on Me Too, Michigan basically was a state where sexual abuse, rape, didn't have a statute of limitation. But after Me Too, and only Me Too helped was, I could basically say this, Caucasian folks, because it did not help any person of minority. We have a lot of people in our system that's been raped, that's been sexually abused, and Me Too never helped. Or Me Too never really helped people of color. I believe the leader was an imposter. She should not even stand on a podium saying who she is as a person of the victim, because I believe the whole story was made up to basically, push her forward, and a lot of people wouldn't challenge her because they put that stereotype on most dark-skinned females that they're big, tall, and big boned to the point where nobody's going to question her because she's a big woman, so they don't want to take on her. But see, if I was there, it would be a little different, because I do not fear because a person is big or tall or dark skinned. That's just not me. But at this point in time, I'm going to redo this to try to get out the information where we necessarily need solutions on how to handle these courts. Biden did make a good statement when he said bring federal assistance in. I believe in that. He should bring the president should be able to control the systems. And although we won't state small power states, sometimes when you get to that point, a lot of people are connected, and you don't want to end up in a state like the state of Michigan, connected on every odds and evens. It is breaking down because most of the older folks who is prejudiced, racist, and biased is dying off. And I'm not saying that to be nasty. I'm just, saying it. But we have some changes in certain states that is a good thing. And I think a lot of other states eventually going to get to that point, I believe, because I heard the talk show on YouTube was talking about the older racist bias. I don't care what color you are. Racist bias, anti, and all this are, we can see it. They're dying off. They're dying from cancer. They're dying from different kinds of disease. And I know that's hard for people to hear because it's their relatives, it's their mama, their daddy, their family. But is it a good thing? Well, if they're in power, I believe it is a good thing. I'm wishing nobody to die off, but if they're in power and their mentality is still back in the 20s and 40s, 50s and 60s of mentally, racially, and bias, and just don't want to give everybody equal justice, it is what it is. So I will continue. I'm going to upload this document. First, I'm going to go over it, kind of quote out everything that is not appropriate to say. But I'm hoping you join me back at Meetup Speak Up. Thank you.